black coaches currently in the NBA.
Yes.
But what we don't...
Some just got fired, right?
Nick McMillan. Alvin Gentry and Nick McMillan, right? They just got fired. Yep. But what we don't see, Skip, is that the first-time coaches, black coaches, that doesn't have coaching experience doesn't get a job like that. And so I think that's what's concerning or upsetting to some black coaches is that we don't get those opportunities. We're going to the Nets, we're going to the Knicks, and Skip, all those, look, if you're a head coach in the league, I mean, but I'm saying we're not going to get the opportunity, I mean, to coach Kevin Durant, to coach Kyrie,
it's just like all-time.
Right, and the team is ready to contend for a title.
It's a loaded team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem that some of the coaches are having.
Yeah, just for the record, the day this story broke in the middle of our show, your first gut reaction was you were fine with it as far as them choosing him.
Right.
Just sort of in a vacuum, if you just say, you just went completely outside the box and picked him.
Kyrie and KD chose him.
They did.
Because if they wanted Ty Lue, or if they wanted Mark Jackson, or if they wanted Shannon Sharp, they could have got that. They chose Steve Nash.
Obviously, Steve had helped coach Kevin in Golden State, sort of as a mentor, just a, not a direct coach, but he was just an advisor to the staff.
Right.
But they clicked and connected. Kyrie, I'm sure, has high regard for Steve Nash's ball handling capabilities, and Kyrie might have the best handle in the history of the game. And yet he knows this guy as a 6'3" point guard, about the same size as Kyrie, won back-to-back MVP.
Right.
Well, there's respect.
And KD, what did KD say? He might have the best mind that I've ever been around.
Okay, all right. And as Steve said, I was the leader of teams for almost 2 decades.
Yes,
and he was.
He was.
Leader of men on and off the court.
He didn't lie.
We get that. Okay. So he admitted, I have benefited from white privilege. Well, we appreciate that. Now, he said, maybe I didn't directly benefit from it in this job that I got just now because I was close with Sean Marks already because we played together in Phoenix, the GM of the Nets, right?
Correct.
And he knew Kevin. Here we go. So the roots were already growing there, and it wasn't a shock. The more you thought, it was a shock to me when I first heard it, but then the more I thought about it, okay, I get it, right? Okay, now let's look at previous black coaches with no experience who got head coaching jobs. The first one was Doc Rivers, who's turned into, to me, the best coach in basketball. That's just me. But he got the Orlando job when it was a pretty bad team, and they went 41-41 the first year with just basically nobody.
And didn't he win Coach of the Year that year, though?
He probably did.
I think he did.
I didn't look this up, but it's Darrell Armstrong and Ron Mercer and Chris Gatling. It wasn't very good.
He didn't get Shaq and Penny?
No. He didn't have Shaq and Penny. So that was the one where you say, I don't know.
Exactly.
But no coaching experience, obviously, and then here he went.
Right.
Then obviously Boston was next, and it's the rest is history, NBA history. Isaiah started with the Pacers and then obviously went to the Knicks, but his Pacer team did have Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal, and they got the second year Meta World Peace. That worked. They had Sam Perkins still. So it was a decent team. Okay, so it wasn't like you got a bad team.
Right.
Then Jason Kidd. He starts out with that Brooklyn team that a lot of people thought had a chance, but KG and Paul Pierce were on their last legs. Kirilenko was there. Brooke Lopez was a young player, but still starting to rise.
Derek Williams and Joe Johnson?
Joe Johnson was there, maybe on his last legs, but people looked at it like pretty cool. You know, like this team's got a chance.
Right.
And then he goes on to get Giannis in Milwaukee as a very young player, but he got him. Okay? Then Mark Jackson, that first year in Golden State, Monte Ellis was still there, but you had Steph and Clay, and
But you had Draymond, too.
The next year, you got Draymond. You had Harrison Barnes.
Right.
He's a very good player.
And then they had signed David. I think they signed David Lee via free agency.
They did. And they had Richard Jefferson, and they had Jared Jack, and they had Bogut and Bazemore, another nice player. So they weren't bad. And again, they needed to learn how to play, and he taught them how to play. And he didn't give it enough credit for that. He still doesn't get enough credit for how he molded that team into the team that Steve Kerr just fell into.
Right.
Like Steve Kerr inherited a team that's equivalent.
Kind of like John Gruden did with Tampa,
there you go.
with Tony Dungy.
That's a good one. That's perfect. It's the perfect football analogy to this. And then there was Derek Fisher, who came out of nowhere because Phil Jackson loved him and knew he was a coach on the floor. And he got that Knicks team with Melo and with Amari Stoudemire. and who else was on there? J.R. Smith, Tim Hardaway, Shumpert. That it was decent. It was an okay team. I think it had,
Was Fish there then? I don't think Fisher was. He got the team with JR?
yeah, that was his first team.
Wow.
He had J.R. So my point is, and they were not very good
Right.
that year. But it wasn't a bad place to start. It just didn't work for whatever reason, and because I think Phil wasn't working as the GM.
But again, Skip, they say, remember, 80% of the jobs
Yep.
are not listed.
Yeah. No, I
Networking sometimes can get you jobs that degrees can't.
Okay.
My grandma used to say, Skip, sometimes good friends can get you things money can't buy. You see, Sean Marks and Steve Nash have a relationship. Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher
did
had a
they?
relationship.
You better
You see
believe
how that works, Skip?
Yep.
So if Kevin Durant has a relationship with Steve Nash.
He does.
That's called networking.
Okay.
Hey, man, check this out, man. Fox over there hiring. They ain't listed the job yet, but they're going to be listed in the next couple of weeks. Maybe you should put your... Now, see, I told somebody that. I'm at Fox. I told them that. They put their resume in, they get the job. Okay. Such and such going to apply for the job, such and such. That's how it works, Skip.
Okay, I got it.
So, like I said, look, I think that's the biggest problem that people have, Skip, is that he got such a good job.
It's the all-time plum cotton job.
out of the gate.
Right.
But like I say, Skip, Kevin Durant and Kyrie signed off on this. If they wanted a black coach, they would have gotten a black coach.
I still don't know why Ty Lue is not the coach. I thought he was made for it, but I can't argue with the case they make for him.
Yeah.
And at least Steve Nash owned it. Yeah, I skipped the line.
That's it. Hey, that's it.
Okay.
Well, he's got to own it. And if it works, that's amazing. If it doesn't, then
It's like it was with the shoes. When it comes to LeBron, okay, I might have a plug.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold it. I mean, I might got a plug when it comes to them bronze.
Yeah.
Chris is always